We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to your live boxing ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to your live.
When is Tank gonna fight somebody? He's a 30-year-old prospect. Why is he fighting Lamont Roach? He's pulling up a guy in weight class. Nobody wants to see that fight. Wrong. And you've been exposed. In this video, I will break down how the Tank haters have formally been exposed in the world of boxing. And it ain't nothing nice. So let your boy Ego take you through it. Now, what you see on the screen is Tank Davis, his upcoming fight with Lamont Roach, right? And in this fight with Lamont Roach, you see the blue areas indicate the sections that still have tickets available, right? And for me, this is looking real good. A lot of industry insiders are forecasting a sellout, and they are saying that Tank is either A, broken his record, or B, the forecast is that he will break his record. What is that record? That is a record he set forth with a fight when he fought Rolly Romero in the same venue a couple years ago. They had a good buildup, and he pushed Rolly off the stage, all this type of stuff. And they set a record for the Barclays Center, which was impressive. Out of all the boxing events that have been held at the Barclays Center, Tank had the highest, most successful attendance, gate, etc. Now, mind you, when the Barclays first opened, they had fights like Danny Garcia, who is from Philly, and Zab Judah, who's from Brooklyn. So that's really an East Coast fight. And that particular fight had an amazing buildup for those that actually remember it. For me, I remember it because I lived it. So that was a very good fight at the time, and it had a great buildup. And again, you got two guys from that coast, and they were fighting at the Barclays, right? So to see somebody who's not from New York, not from Philly, which is about an hour away from New York, right? You can catch a train there. Guy from Baltimore fighting another guy from that DMV area. And again, his opponent is a great fighter, champion in the lighter division, but he's not necessarily a household name. It goes to show you that Tank is big business. Look at these sections. Look how many sections are like invisible and grayed out. There's not many tickets left at all. Mind you, and I think this is very important for you guys to note, this fight week hasn't really started, meaning they haven't done the final press conference. They definitely haven't done the weigh-in, which is Friday. They haven't done the media day workout and interviews. So we're, as of me recording the video, we're just at the beginning of fight week. They've done no anything, no grand arrivals, no nothing for this particular fight other than the pure promotion they've been doing, the shoulder programming, which is available on Premier Boxing Champs YouTube, the Gloves Are Off series, etc. So it goes to show you, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. Tank is a bona fide star. I don't care who says what. Now, I'm going to put salt in the wound and add insult to injury, because I told you guys at the beginning of this year what I came to do. I come to wreck stuff, Wreck It Ralph. It is going to get very dark for a lot of content creators. I told you this, right? Because there's a lot of people, I pioneered this game, and I'll be dang to see it turn into like this anarchy and people just lying and stuff like that. It can't happen on my watch. I am the Bruce Wayne, the Batman of boxing, and this boxing game is my Gotham. So what do I mean? I've told you from the beginning, there is a lot of low quality content. If you look around, even on YouTube, cheap looking thumbnails, rushed out videos, people just putting out 2-4 minute videos, not really saying much, people lying. That's definitely grown rampant in this space, where people just lying, clickbait. The title doesn't match what is said in the content. You have titles that you click on the video and then you watch it and you're like, hey, where's this that you said in the title in the video? And you guys, some people are so thirsty for boxing and boxing news that you waste your time on stuff like that. Now, with the usual suspects, the resistance, a lot of them happen to be Tank haters, right? So they'll push out all these narratives and content regarding Tank that happens to be negative, looking for that low-hanging fruit. Tank is popping. So when you're top dog, people are going to love you or hate you. So a lot of people placate to that, and they know Tank has a lot of support. So they just go against it and say the opposite, start spreading lies about the man, start talking about his personal life, start posting his mugshot, start saying he has tax issues, saying that he's mad at Al Heyman and PBC, saying that his fight with Lamont Roach, nobody wants to see it, saying that it won't sell, like this is a travesty, he's a 30-year-old prospect. All of these things we've heard about Tank recently, and fast forward to the future, you guys got to explain yourself. With the promotion that has been done for this fight with the opponent, all these people had so much to say about Tank Davis and, you know, who he was fighting and why is he fighting him and all this type of stuff. Somebody's clearly interested because the tickets are flying off the shelves, right? The tickets are selling. So somebody, how can you say, just as a boxing fan, right? If you watched a channel or a content creator who has been telling you Tank sucks, nobody wants to see it, Tank can't sell, he won't sell out, he's really not the face of boxing, Canelo's the face of boxing, Riyadh's season is taking over boxing, Turkey's taking over boxing. They said the February 22nd card was going to be colossal. It came and went. 2 of the fights fell apart, right? Some of the fights didn't really live up to the expectation. The card didn't live up to the expectation. And most importantly, when we're talking about sales, they still haven't come out with any type of numbers. They probably won't tell us how many pay-per-views they sold, especially in America, right? And they also, I've already made videos about it. You had a rematch scenario in Saudi with Better Biev and Bivol. Good first fight. It was also for Undisputed, but the first fight was in a venue where the capacity was 25,000. It's a 25,000 seater. The rematch, they took it down into a much smaller venue that held 6,000 people. So where they do that at, right? Usually when you have a backstory and a much needed rematch, the rematch or the trilogy becomes bigger and bigger because people enjoyed the first fight, and you build on that. You build on the backstory, especially if there's any level of controversy, which there was. Some people thought Bivol should have won. Some people thought Better Biev won. So you had that backstory of people down the middle thought it was a good fight, and or either guy could have won. So you needed that to set the record straight. Better Biev is a knockout artist. Bivol's a great boxer. So you kind of need to see what happens in the rematch. So I'm not dogging the fight. The fight was cool. But again, when do you take it out of a 25K seater and put it in a 6,000 seater? If you had a better card for Better Biev Bivol rematch, the undercard I'm talking, and you put it in a smaller venue. So what does that say? So while you guys are sitting up here praising Saudi Arabia and the moves and say they took over boxing, it's like working backwards with some of these things. If you have a rematch, how is your rematch in essence smaller? Can you imagine Tank Davis having a big fight, a fight that media, fans, personalities, content creators are all saying it's a big fight, like let's say Ryan Garcia, and then a week of the fight, they say, hey, we're putting the Tank Ryan in an intimate, smaller venue. It would never happen, because with real stars that have real events and real fights like Gervonta Davis, if anything, you need to open up sections to accommodate more fans. Like maybe the top wasn't fully open, or section 209 wasn't open, and now you have to open 209 because the demand is so high. So a lot of what you guys have been saying is simply not adding up. Tank is on track to break his own record. It is showing you what it is. Meanwhile, people say, oh, but Canelo's the face of boxing. I mean, he's one of them, but the move to team up with Turkey to fight an unknown guy, even for undisputed, in Saudi Arabia, William Skull, and take him out of his market where he's made most of his coin to this point in his career, to me is a mistake. Canelo can sell, especially the bigger the opponent and the bigger the event. And now you're just taking him out the United States completely, and he's fighting in Saudi Arabia against an unknown name. We will see how that looks, and we'll see what size venue. I guarantee you, unless they fake it and like give people a bunch of free tickets, it is not going to look like Canelo shows in America. How could it when you have Mexicans, La Raza, Latinos who are traveling from, some from the East Coast, some from LA, some from Arizona, some from Cali, and they go to his shows, like when he does a show, Berlanga or whatever, in Vegas. That's why you see a pool of fans and a lot of Latinos in Vegas, because it's already a poppin' place to be in Las Vegas. It's a tourist and touristy place, right? So there's other things to do. You can always grab great food in Las Vegas. I eat good when I go to Vegas, right? They obviously got a ton of MGM properties and hotels, so getting a room is not a challenge. And getting around the strip where the fights happen is easy. They got Lyfts and Ubers now, so it's the place to be, right? We'll see what the Canelo experience is like now, with him fighting 3 of his next 4 fights in a 4-fight deal with the Saudis in Saudi Arabia, especially from what we're hearing. William Skull, Turkey just did an interview, and he said that the winner of Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. will be in line to face Canelo. Good luck with that, because that's a fight that nobody asked for. So, you know, at the end of the day, good luck. I can't wait. I can't wait, because 2025 is going to be an amazing year for me. A lot of you guys who are lying and clickbaiting, it's not going to be such a great year for you. Book it. And with Tank particularly, you got a lot of media and a lot of people who hate on the kid, but you can't deny he's an attraction. All these people, and this is what I want you guys to do as intelligent boxing fans. If you're smart, if you're intelligent, listen to my content, listen to other people's content, and tell me at the end of the day what adds up and whose messaging from start to the revealed finish actually mattered and made sense. And then if you start getting to this conversation, you will find I am the best in the business, and it's not even close. And then you're going to have to ask yourself the hard question: why am I listening to individuals who are disruptive and not trying to build the sport of boxing, and all their information is bad? Oh, Tank can't sell. Tank is going to flop. Nobody wants to see this. Who is Lamont Roach? All this stuff that people and the fans have been saying, but then New Yorkers are clearly into this fight and they want to go because Tank is an attraction, which I've been telling you from the beginning. I've seen it firsthand because I've covered Tank fights live. If you've never been to a live Tank fight, then maybe you don't understand the experience. When I covered Tank versus Gamboa, wasn't the biggest fight known to man, right? There were a ton of celebrities there, bro. I got to meet Shaquille O'Neal and Mutombo, rest in peace. You know what I mean? Ton of NBA guys were there. Clarissa Shields was there. Evander Holyfield was there. Danny Jacobs, J. Leon Love. Ask him. Don't take my word for it. I was there, so I seen them all, and I talked to some of them, right? So it was crazy. And that was like earlier Tank. That was before he beat Ryan Garcia and all this type, before the Barrios fight. So that was in like 2019. We're talking about several years later, and his profile has only grown stronger. He was the only person in 2023 to do over 1 million pay-per-view buys in America in boxing. So again, you got him and Ryan Garcia. So you guys can say what you want, but the proof is in the pudding and the numbers and the stats. Tank is big business. If anyone's saying anything else, they're lying to you, right? And you guys, in the same individuals, they're advocating all these other things and other organizations and telling you other fights are bigger and Tank needs to fight someone, but he's clearly resonating. You cannot change that. You can hate and be mad about it and, you know, click your teeth and all that, but you can't stop God's work. Tank is a true star in the sport in America, and he's doing it. Now you see why all these other fighters in or around his division are mentioning him, getting in beefs with him, criticizing him, saying they want to fight him, etc., etc. And let me add more salt to the wound. This fight is taking place at the Barclays Center, the same venue that held last year Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. The usual suspects, the resistance that are hating on Tank, notice they're probably fans of Devin Haney and a Haneyak or Ryan Garcia. And they said certain things. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney at the Barclays Center makes sense. Meanwhile, I kept it real. I said, why have two West Coast fighters fighting on the East Coast where that's not really their known market? Devin Haney, we don't know of like a big, huge fan base in the East Coast area. Ryan's from Victorville, California. Why you have two guys from California fighting in New York and they're not that big? Yet the resistance said, oh, Haney Garcia is going to be a huge fight. It's going to sell out. It didn't sell out. It didn't even beat Tank versus Rolly, which is now going to be beaten by Tank versus Lamont Roach. So imagine that. Tank versus Roach is going to outsell and outperform a fight with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney just last year. We're not talking about like a fight that happened in the 70s versus 2025. We're talking about Devin Haney coming off the Regis Prograde, great performance and win. Ryan Garcia beat Duarte, who's doing well for himself, and got a win in the column. They fought each other, and then the pay-per-view flopped. Oscar De La Hoya said it didn't make money. Both Ryan and Devin went to social media, said they didn't get paid, and pretty much they expected more money. Devin started suing Ryan. Ryan popped dirty, right? And the whole thing was a mess. But those content creators said that was a big fight and it was going to sell out. And they likely said that Tank versus Roach is an undesired fight that won't sell out. So again, there's a lot of people who have a lot of explaining to do. Also, the Ryan fans. It's not just the Haniacs, the Ryan fans. The Ryan fans, the man fans of Ryan, they said Ryan is the reason Tank sold 1 million plus pay-per-views. They gave Ryan, who had never been a champion, all of the credit and said that's why that fight was so popular and did those numbers. Ryan, since Tank, has never been able to achieve anything similar in terms of an attraction with any of his fights since that fight. Meanwhile, Tank Davis continues to thrive and put up numbers that no one outside of maybe Canelo can put up in boxing. Oh man, it's bad. Oh man, why y'all let ego do y'all like this? So somebody got to be lying, and it ain't me. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia did not outperform Tank Rolly, so there's no way they're going to outperform this fight, which is about to pass Tank's old record with Rolly. And this is a fight that people said, oh, nobody wants to see. Why are they making this? And cried about and all that stuff. Again, showcasing Tank's ability to sell. He's clicking with people. He's an action star. Meanwhile, all of the fans that are talking bad about him are usually connected to another fighter's fan base that has a problem with Tank. like Shakur fans. Shakur Stevenson, he's fighting an electrician on a moment's notice and going 9 rounds with him. Tank is a must-see TV. Shakur said he was must-see TV, but people don't seem to be resonating with his fights every time he fights, at least since the Edwin De Los Santos fight. So again, there's a lot of people in boxing lying. I am so fortunate and blessed to have a supportive audience that allows me to speak these truths, and they keep coming back. Even the haters, they keep coming back, which keeps the lights on. And I appreciate that. So shout out to everybody for the support. If you got any value from this video or any pieces of my art, my content, make sure you guys subscribe. But I'm so glad that I could speak my mind and speak so freely without like agendas and propaganda, somebody telling me what to say and battery in my back. So I could just keep it real, because that maintains that my integrity will always be here. A lot of people done sold out for different reasons and different causes and other, like certain fighters, and then they're pushing narratives, and these narratives are blowing up in their face, and then they'll just go on to something else. The reality is Tank wasn't even supposed to fight Lamont Roach. There were other attempts made to fight Rayo, right, who's on this card. Good fight with Gary Antoine Russell, Lomachenko. So this was like the third, maybe fourth person that they reached out to and landed on in lieu of these other fights not manifesting. And Tank is still producing numbers with a backup guy like Lamont Roach. Again, no knock on him. He's not big. There's no other fighter. Like if Shakur fought Lamont Roach, it wouldn't be a big fight. You wouldn't look at the Ticketmaster or whatever and it looked like this. Shakur got booed in Saudi Arabia, which I have never seen happen to anybody. So Tank is that dude right now. And the haters, they suffering. Tank is helping the economy. He bring a fight to your city, it will immediately impact your economy and provide entertainment, which is what they're in it for. So you guys as fans, I keep telling you, you need to start holding people accountable, including myself. I never worry about it because I can always perform. I'm elite, so I can always make adjustments. If I had a bunch of information I was putting out that was bad, then I'm not going to like that, and it's only going to make me grow and become sharper. But there's a lot of content creators who have zero integrity, zero. So they'll just keep putting out lies and lies and lies, and it's up to the fans to call them out. You guys should be in people's comment section like, hey, I thought you said this wasn't going to sell out. Hey, I thought you said nobody wants to see Tank versus Lamont Roach. Hey, this and that. Hey, I thought you said Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia was going to sell out and Tank wasn't. Because the proof is in the pudding. People can continue to lie, but we're seeing the results. And the funny thing is, it's not me. Some people are like, oh, you're a Tank lover and all that. There's other people in the industry that don't have nothing to do with me or Tank, and they're putting that these tickets are flying off the shelf and selling out. Like ticket brokers. They don't have a horse in the race. I don't have a horse in the race. So again, believe whatever you want, but the proof is in the pudding and in the numbers. Chat.